it's working. Good. Right, so the date is Tuesday the 27th of November, and it's 6 days after I filmed A Morning at Faulconbridge, which is of course my film in one day challenge, and now it's finally time for me to do the reflection video. Challenge myself to do a film in one day. Well, like I've said in a few promotional videos for this thing, in fact all of them, most of my films, the likes of Wind Yellow in All Weather, 3 Days on the Western Plains, Highlands in July, and most others take a couple of days. I've said 2 days mostly. The likes of the longer ones, like Wind Yellow in All Weather, which was 21 minutes long, that took about a week of on-off editing. It didn't take a week of just straight editing. But that's always annoyed me slightly, that it takes me that long to produce my content. So I thought, can I do it in 18 hours? And can I do a proper long film in 18 hours? Because of course I can produce a film in 18 hours. I have. I produced the shortest turnaround time I've ever had between filming and actually getting the film up was about 3 hours. But that only had one clip in it. This is a proper film with history and lots of trains, as opposed to just one like that film, and all. I wanted to challenge myself, really, I did it because I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could actually do a film in one day, which would then hopefully spur me on, if this makes any sense, to potentially get my turnaround, speed up my turnarounds. So, yeah, it came out, all things considered, it came out of a little bit of an annoyance at the length of my usual film turnarounds, which I could do it in 2 days normally. Wind Yellow in All Weather, if I'd done it straight, I could have done it in 2 days without too many stoppages. But because it took a week, that bugged me, because it's a really slow turnaround. And so I thought, let's try and do one in a day. And I did it in 16 hours. So yeah, that's why I tried to do a film in one day. Tried and succeeded in doing a film in one day. Of tying it to International Justice Mission and their campaign to rescue children from slavery on Lake Volta. I'd never actually heard of this until about 2 weeks before I shot the film. I mean, I drafted the film by this point, because the film actually got, because of things out of my control, the shooting date kept getting pushed back. I originally had slated it for the 7th, and then it got pushed back to the 14th, and then finally it got pushed back to the 21st, when I actually ended up going out with a camera, 2 cameras in fact, and actually shooting the film. Now, where would I got to? Oh yes, IJM. I tied it to IJM because my youth group, Elevate Youth, at St James's Church, had tied itself to the Lake Volta campaign and was encouraging us to do things, but we had to do things to raise money. But one of the things was we had to have our own unique take on it, and I thought this is as good of an opportunity as ever to get to use my YouTube channel for this sort of thing. And people would be thinking, isn't that the sort of thing that you put on TheBritFromOz too? Well, yes it is, but let's be honest here, TheBritFromOz 2 at the moment only has 9 subscribers, whilst TheBritFromOz Rail at this point had 201. So, no-brainer that you put it on the channel with more subs. I tied it to IJM because doing the challenge, it's a bit like 40-hour famine in the fundraising side of things. In any other respect, it's not like 40-hour famine at all. I'm not giving up anything for 40 hours. But in the fundraising aspect of it, it's very much the same. You go out and do something a little bit out of the ordinary, and you promote it as, I'm doing this for this cause. And, well, I've been wanting to do the Film in One Day challenge for quite a while, even before it ended up being at Faulconbridge. And then when IJM came up, the IJM campaign at my youth group came up, I suddenly thought, why don't I tie this challenge to that, to IJM, and I'd be able to use it as a fundraising opportunity. And it sort of went from there, and my youth group leaders approved of it, and a couple of them even liked the film. So yeah, that's why I tied it to IJM. In short, because I'm not good at being in short when I'm doing this piece to camera, and I'm doing it off the top of my head. I should probably have got that in earlier, but I tied it to IJM because this is something I've wanted to do for a while. It's a bit out of the ordinary, and the IJM campaign was there for me to help fundraise for, and I wanted to do something for it. So I thought, why not tie the Film in a Day challenge to it? Say, I've gone out and shot this all in 16 hours, and shot and edited and uploaded in 16 hours, and absolutely knackered myself doing it. So you'll donate some money. Yeah. If I'm honest, the shoot was not one of my best shoots ever. It was not up to the heights of A Day in Burradoo and Blackheath Dawn in the Fridge, because those were awesome shoots. But it wasn't a terrible shoot either. What I should actually point out is this film had actually gone through 3 iterations when I say scripted, which is basically me coming up with the idea and how I want to do it. Originally it was at Lapstone, and then a couple of days before the 21st I moved it to Lura, and then the day before the 21st, so on the evening of the 20th, I moved it to Faulconbridge. And the other thing that was with the shoot, apart from all the waiting, because the waiting was quite, I mean, I'm a train spotter, I should be used to waiting, and I sort of am, but it does get, even for, and I'm sure other train spotters can attest to this, waiting does get a little bit annoying after a while, especially when I got word that the Indian Pacific was running about 80 minutes late. That really put the pinch in. That really was the pinch. But I decided to wait. I decided to wait for it because it's the Indian Pacific. Despite having a Pacific National livery loco leading, still the Indian Pacific. And the other thing was, I was using 2 cameras. So I was using my phone, which is what I'm filming this on, and this, my iPod 5. And this was before I got my phone, which was at the beginning of 2017, so it is getting on a little bit. This was my filming device. And that only goes up to on 1080p at 30 frames per second. I film in 30 frames per second on this as well, but this I film in 4K. So there was a bit of a jarring quality difference, but nothing too bad, so I wasn't too annoyed about that. What was a little bit harder to get hang of was the fact that I was using 2 cameras. Not so much the use of 2 cameras itself, because I was holding my phone and this one I had mounted on a tripod. But more, when you're filming with 2 cameras, you have to be very careful about not getting in the way of the other camera, and that took a little bit of practice on. And when you only have so many trains, you can't afford to screw too many stuff too many clips up. That's why not the first clip, I think, that's filmed at the location, which I eventually chose, you can actually see this camera, and as a result you could see me filming with that one, so the clip I filmed on here had to go. Eventually, by WT27, by the XPT, I got the hang of it, and from then on, it went pretty well. So it was it was a bit of a difficult start, but it eventually came good. I haven't mentioned the 3 o'clock wake up, which I had to do to leave my house to get to my local station and then out to the Blue Mountains in time for... Was it in time for the bullet? No, just for when I wanted to do the shoot. Because I've actually done I've done a few of those, and it's not really anything new for me, and it doesn't trouble me too much. The one thing that really was a downer was, you'll notice if you've watched the film, there is only one clip of the Bathurst bullet, despite the fact that I did have 2 cameras available. And because I've mentioned the quality difference, you'll be able to tell that it was actually filmed on here. And it looks like it was a, oh crap, the train's coming, quick, get the camera out and film. And it was, because I was also filming a behind the rails vlog, which is not going to go up because I decided not to put it up, because it was really unstructured, but never mind about that. And the bullet sort of jumped out of nowhere, jumped out at me, and I'd completely forgotten about it, which really annoyed me that I managed to let my guard down like that. But oh well, I did still get the train on camera, even if it was just one shot and it wasn't the most brilliant one. It was a little bit annoying because it was the bullet, and yes, it's only an Endeavour, but it wasn't a V-set, and there were plenty of V-sets, but only one Endeavour. So that was a bit annoying. But after that, I mean, but all things considered, I did get a clip of it, even if it was on here, which isn't bad at all, actually, even now. So yeah, the shoot started off a little bit hard, especially seeing, I haven't mentioned this yet, especially seeing when I got to the level crossing, which was my original filming spot. It just proved too difficult to use, because you're right up close to the track, there's fences and poles everywhere you turn, even with a tripod, and I couldn't get the tripod over the fence at the time. I mean, over the fence, I couldn't get it so the camera was looking up. You get what I mean. So I had to very quickly find another location, and the one I found was good. So it was a bit of a troubled start, but eventually the shoot came good. And it wasn't my best shoot, like I said, but it wasn't a terrible shoot, and I think it was actually a pretty good shoot. How did I feel doing the edit and the upload? Well, there's always the nagging feeling when you're editing and uploading, because I arrived home with about 10 hours to go until my deadline, that you might not make it in time. The edit was fairly straightforward. Get the videos off my devices, off the 2 devices that I'd use, get them onto my computer, edit them in Movie Maker, caption them, and all else. Put the music on, and voila. The IJM intro that was on the video, that was I was a little bit concerned about that, because when I got home I still hadn't planned out what I wanted to do, but that was fairly straight. That was actually, it turned out, the one I used was fairly straightforward, and it was still good, despite being fairly straightforward. And the rest of the edit, including the history, it did help that I'd done the history on the train home, was fairly good. The edit was fairly straightforward. So the edit was good. It was good edit, and it wasn't too difficult of an edit. And yeah, I was almost enjoying myself editing that one. In fact, I was. Now, the upload. This is where I thought it might all go awry. My internet is not fantastic. I'm not going to mention my provider because that will just spur a load of comment debate and everything, and I do not want to do that. But my internet is not fantastic for uploading, and an upload will generally take, when I was uploading 8-minute videos before I shifted into the format I do now, that took about 2 hours of video. So obviously this one I think took about 4 or 5 hours to upload because the internet kept dropping out at times. So the upload was, I mean, once you've got all the stuff into YouTube, like the description and the thumbnail and the title, and you've actually put the video in, all you can do really is wait. And that's the most tedious thing, because there is nothing you can, it's the most annoying thing, because there is nothing you can do, because there is nothing you can do to speed the process up. And because the internet was being a bit dodgy at the time, it added 40 minutes onto the upload time. So instead of being 15 hours, 20 minutes, it ended up being 16 hours. It was actually 16 hours and 10 minutes, the entire process, not the 16 hours that I keep saying. Yes, I admitted I rounded it down, but at 16 hours, it had uploaded. It was just processing. It was just processing on YouTube, and that I didn't count as part of the process, because by that point, it is uploaded. So the upload was where I thought everything could go a little bit awry, because if I didn't make it by 4 to 6 minutes past midnight, which was my deadline, 18 hours after I shot the first clip at 6:46, then, well, the whole challenge would have been void, and I wouldn't have done what I'd set out to do, which is one of the worst feelings ever. And it seems a bit ridiculous, seeing as it might seem a bit ridiculous in hindsight, thinking that might happen, because I had 2 hours left to go. But if the internet's being slow, running over is a very real possibility. So anyway, despite all that, it did get up, and it was uploaded, and it did make it up. So now, the reception of the film. This is probably the most critical part, and this film was actually pretty well received by all the Facebook groups that I shared it on, and all. I mean, it had a lot of, it's a fairly standard film from me. It's history, which is research using the same 3 or 4 sites usually, not mentioning any names, and then the trains with time, run number or train number, that's just penalty for me, what it is, and the train itself. So it's a pretty standard film, but because I'd done it as part of the challenge, that meant I could show my youth leaders, and they liked it, and they thought it was quite good as well. And last time I checked, which was this morning, it had 117 views, which doesn't sound like much, considering some YouTubers can get like 1,000 views in a minute. So to get 117 views in 6 days for them would be abysmal. For me, it's quite good, because more films than was the case are now cracking the 100 view mark. But generally I get 60, 70, 80 views a film. There are some that get more, like the Chumster and the Endeavour one is very near 400. But yeah, so 117 views for me, I think, is a good reception. So things considered, did I enjoy doing the challenge? Well, I immensely enjoyed doing the challenge because it's something a little bit different, and there's a little bit more pressure on you to actually get the film done well and quickly, which normally the two aren't the happiest of bedfellows really when it comes to doing any sort of project, whether it's building or filming. You can either do it well and take forever and completely miss your deadline, which I often did, which I used to, or you can do it quickly and it's full of spelling errors, it's full of unresearched information, it's cut, the cuts are in the wrong place, and basically it would look shabby. But the fact that I managed to combine the two is a good thing for me. Tying it to IJM, I really liked. I thought that was, in my mind, that was quite good, because I wholly believed in what IJM believed in, and it's always really good to support a cause, both for those that they're trying to help, those that the IJM's trying to help, and yourself, because you feel a bit of satisfaction, and it does bring you happiness as well. The shoot, well, like I said, it's not one of my best shoots, but it was nowhere near my most terrible shoot. Editing, yes, I'm not going to go too much into that. Uploading, yeah, I just wish my internet was faster, but there was really nothing to do about that. And to have the viewership be currently, it might be more, at 117, I think it's good. So overall, I think my Film in One Day challenge has been a success, and I look forward to producing more films of the same quality in maybe the same time frames.